Take Control of Your Life, How to Build a Life You Love, written and published by Fearless Audiobook. Introduction. You may not realize it yet, but your life is already being shaped by the choices you make when no one is watching. Every habit you repeat, every thought you entertain, every excuse you accept is quietly building the future you will one day live in. And the truth is simple. If you do not take control of your life, something else will. Other people's opinions will. Old fears will. Comfort will. Distraction will. Before long, you will wake up inside a life that was never truly chosen by you. But that does not have to be your story. You have the power to change direction. You have the ability to stop living on autopilot and start living with intention. You can break free from the pressure, the confusion, the self-doubt, and the patterns that have kept you stuck. You can learn how to build a life that reflects your values, your purpose, and your dreams. This audiobook is for you if you are ready to stop drifting and start deciding. It is for you if you are tired of surviving instead of living. It is for you if you want more peace, more confidence, more freedom, and more meaning. And by the end, you will not just understand how to take control of your life. You will feel ready to do it. Chapter 1. Break free from autopilot. Have you ever reached the end of a day and wondered where the time went? You woke up, checked your phone, rushed through your routine, worked, ate, watched something online, and went to bed, only to repeat the exact same pattern the next day. Weeks become months, months become years, and before you know it, you're living a life that feels familiar but not fulfilling. This is what living on autopilot looks like. Autopilot isn't always obvious. It's not just about routines. It's a way of living without conscious intention. It happens when you make decisions based on habit instead of purpose, when you follow expectations instead of your own values, and when you react to life rather than actively shaping it. The most dangerous part is that it feels normal. Because everyone around you is busy doing the same thing, it's easy to believe this is simply how life works. But you were never meant to merely go through the motions. You were meant to choose your direction. Every meaningful change begins with awareness. Before you can improve your life, you must first notice how you're currently living it. Ask yourself a few honest questions. Why do you spend your mornings the way you do? Why do you make the choices you make? Are your daily habits moving you closer to the life you want, or are they simply repeating yesterday? Many people assume that major life changes come from one dramatic decision. In reality, your future is shaped by thousands of small choices. The decision to wake up early or hit the snooze button. The decision to read for 20 minutes or scroll social media for an hour. The decision to have a difficult conversation or avoid it. Individually, these choices seem insignificant. Together, they become your life. Your habits are always casting votes for the person you're becoming. Another reason people stay on autopilot is that they never question the beliefs they've carried for years. Perhaps you've told yourself, "I'm just not confident. Success isn't for people like me," or "It's too late to start over." These thoughts may feel like facts, but they're often stories you've repeated so many times that you've stopped challenging them. Imagine driving with an old map that no longer matches the roads. No matter how confidently you follow it, you'll still end up in the wrong place. Limiting beliefs work the same way. If your mental map is outdated, your decisions will continue leading you toward the same results. The first step isn't changing the destination, it's updating the map. Awareness also means paying attention to your environment. The people you spend time with, the content you consume, and the conversations you have all influence your thinking. If you're constantly surrounded by negativity, criticism, or distraction, staying intentional becomes much harder. On the other hand, when you expose yourself to positive ideas, encouraging people, and meaningful challenges, your perspective begins to expand. This doesn't mean your circumstances control you. It means your environment either supports your growth or quietly resists it. The good news is that you have the power to change it, one decision at a time. Breaking free from autopilot doesn't require changing your entire life overnight. In fact, trying to change everything at once often leads to frustration. Instead, Begin with small moments of awareness. Before making a decision, pause and ask yourself, is this choice taking me toward the life I want or away from it? That single question can transform the way you approach your day. You can also create simple daily check-ins. Spend 5 minutes each evening reflecting on your actions. What did you do well? What distracted you? What could you improve tomorrow? This habit of reflection keeps you awake to your own life instead of allowing days to disappear unnoticed. Remember, progress doesn't begin with perfection. It begins with paying attention. There will be moments when you slip back into old routines. That's completely normal. The goal isn't to eliminate every unconscious habit overnight. The goal is to notice sooner, correct your course, and continue moving forward. Every time you become aware of an unhelpful pattern, you've already taken the first step toward changing it. Think of yourself as the architect of your life. An architect doesn't randomly place walls and hope for the best. Every decision is intentional because every decision shapes the final structure. Your life deserves the same level of care. Each thought, each habit, each conversation, and each choice becomes another brick in the foundation of your future. From this moment on, refuse to let your days pass without purpose. Stop allowing habit to make decisions that belong to you. Stop waiting for the perfect time, the perfect opportunity, or the perfect version of yourself. The life you want will not appear by accident. It will be created through conscious choices, repeated consistently over time. Today is your invitation to wake up, to notice, to choose, because the moment you break free from autopilot is the moment you truly begin taking control of your life. Chapter 2. Discover the life you truly want. Imagine climbing a ladder for years, only to discover that it was leaning against the wrong wall. You worked hard, stayed disciplined, and achieved goals that everyone applauded, yet deep inside, something still feels missing. The problem wasn't your effort. The problem was the destination. Many people spend their entire lives chasing success without ever asking themselves a simple but powerful question: what do I truly want? Instead, they chase what society celebrates. They pursue careers because they're considered prestigious. They buy things to impress people they barely know. They compare themselves to strangers on social media and measure their worth by likes, titles, salaries, or status. Slowly, they begin living someone else's definition of a successful life instead of creating one that genuinely fulfills them. But if you want to take control of your life, you must first discover what truly matters to you, not to your parents, your friends, your co-workers, or society. To you. The first step is identifying your values. Your values are the principles that guide your decisions and shape your character. They influence how you spend your time, who you build relationships with, how you define success, and what gives your life meaning. If your life is not aligned with your values, you'll constantly feel conflicted, no matter how successful you appear on the outside. Ask yourself questions you've probably never taken the time to answer. What kind of person do you want to become? What makes you feel alive? What activities give you energy instead of draining it? What do you want people to remember about you when you're gone? These questions may not have immediate answers, and that's okay. Discovering your purpose isn't a race. It's a journey of honest self-reflection. One of the biggest obstacles to discovering your true path is the pressure to meet other people's expectations. From childhood, you're told what success should look like. Study this subject, choose this career, earn this amount of money, get married by this age, buy this house, follow this timeline. Without realizing it, you begin living according to a script that someone else wrote. There's nothing wrong with accepting advice from people who care about you, but advice should guide your thinking, not replace it. Your life is unique, and your path should reflect who you are, not who someone else wants you to be. Imagine two university graduates. One becomes a doctor because it fulfills their family's lifelong dream. The other chooses architecture because designing spaces has fascinated them since childhood. Years later, the doctor earns respect and financial stability, but feels emotionally disconnected from their work. The architect, while facing challenges along the way, wakes up excited to solve creative problems every day. The difference isn't intelligence or opportunity, it's alignment. One followed expectations, the other followed purpose. Purpose doesn't eliminate difficulty, it simply gives difficulty meaning. Another mistake people make is believing they must have every detail of their future figured out before taking action. That's not how life works. Clarity often comes after movement, not before it. Think about driving through a dense fog at night. You can't see the entire road ahead. You only see the next few meters illuminated by your headlights. Yet those few meters are enough to keep moving. As you continue driving, more of the road becomes visible. Life works the same way. You don't need a 20-year master plan before taking your first step. You simply need enough clarity to make your next good decision. That's why creating a personal vision is so important. A vision is not a rigid blueprint. It's a direction. It's a picture of the person you want to become and the kind of life you want to build. Maybe you want stronger relationships, financial freedom, meaningful work, better health, inner peace, or the freedom to spend more time with your family. Your vision should inspire you every morning and guide your decisions every day. Once your vision becomes clear, decision-making becomes much easier. Instead of asking, "What should I do?" you begin asking, "Does this move me closer to the life I want?" That one question filters distractions, opportunities, and commitments with remarkable clarity. It's equally important to understand that your vision will evolve. The person you are today won't be exactly the same 5 or 10 years from now. New experiences will shape your priorities. That's perfectly natural. Growth isn't about stubbornly holding on to one plan forever. It's about continually aligning your life with your deepest values as you learn and mature. Remember, success without fulfillment eventually feels empty. You can have money, recognition, and achievements, yet still feel that something essential is missing if your life isn't connected to your authentic purpose. The goal isn't simply to become successful. The goal is to build a life that feels meaningful when no one is watching. Chapter 3. Change your mindset. Before you change your life. Every achievement you admire began as a thought. Before someone built a successful business, wrote a best-selling book, transformed their health, or changed the world, they first believed it was possible. Long before the results appeared, there was a mindset that made those results possible. If you want to change your life, you must first change the way you think. This doesn't mean pretending that life is always easy or ignoring real challenges. It means understanding that your thoughts shape your decisions shape your actions, and your actions shape your future. Your external life is often a reflection of your internal world. Imagine wearing a pair of glasses with dirty lenses. No matter how beautiful the scenery is, everything appears dull and distorted. The problem isn't the world around you, it's the lens through which you're seeing it. Your mindset works the same way. If you constantly tell yourself that you're not good enough, that success belongs to other people, or that failure defines you, you'll see every opportunity through those distorted beliefs. The good news is that lenses can be cleaned. One of the most common mindset traps is believing that your abilities are fixed. You may think, "I'm just not confident. I'm bad with money. I'm not creative." Or, "I'm too old to start over." These statements may feel true because you've repeated them for years, but they're not permanent facts. They're conclusions you've accepted without questioning. A fixed mindset convinces you that who you are today is who you'll always be. A growth mindset reminds you that every skill can be improved through learning, practice, and persistence. Think about a child learning to walk. They don't fall once and decide they're not meant to walk. They fall, get back up, and try again. Failure isn't seen as proof of inability. It's simply part of the learning process. Somewhere along the way, many adults forget this lesson. Instead of seeing mistakes as opportunities to grow, they see them as evidence that they should quit. They become afraid of looking foolish, making the wrong decision, or being judged by others. As a result, they stop taking risks, stop learning, and stop growing. But growth has never been comfortable. Every meaningful transformation begins outside your comfort zone. The first time you speak in public, start a business, apply for a new job, or learn a new skill, you'll probably feel uncertain. That's normal. Confidence doesn't come before action, it comes because of action. Another powerful habit to develop is paying attention to your inner dialogue. Every day, you have thousands of conversations with yourself. Unfortunately, many of them are negative. I'll probably fail. I'm not smart enough. I always mess things up. It's too late for me. If a stranger spoke to you the way you sometimes speak to yourself, you probably wouldn't keep them in your life. Yet many people repeat these harmful messages so often that they become automatic. Start challenging those thoughts. When your mind says, "I can't do this," ask yourself, what evidence do I actually have? When it says, "I've failed before," remind yourself, "I've also learned before." When it says, "I'm not ready," answer, "I can become ready by taking the next step." Changing your self-talk doesn't mean lying to yourself. It means choosing thoughts that encourage growth instead of fear. It's also important to recognize the difference between excuses and obstacles. Obstacles are real challenges that require effort and creativity to overcome. Excuses are stories we tell ourselves to avoid discomfort. An obstacle might be lacking experience. An excuse is believing you'll never gain experience. An obstacle might be limited financial resources. An excuse is deciding there's no point in trying because you don't have everything you need today. Successful people aren't those who face fewer obstacles. They're the ones who refuse to let obstacles become permanent excuses. Another mindset shift involves how you define failure. Most people think failure is the opposite of success. It isn't. Failure is feedback. Every unsuccessful attempt teaches you something valuable if you're willing to learn. Every setback reveals weaknesses you can strengthen. Every disappointment gives you the chance to become wiser, more patient, and more resilient. Imagine a scientist conducting hundreds of experiments. If one experiment doesn't work, they don't conclude they're incapable of discovery. They collect information, adjust their approach, and continue testing. Life works much the same way. You don't lose when something doesn't go according to plan. You lose only when you stop learning. Gratitude is another mindset that quietly transforms your life. When you constantly focus on what's missing, you'll never feel satisfied. There will always be someone with more money, more success, or more recognition. But when you regularly appreciate what you already have, your health, your opportunities, your relationships, your ability to learn, you create a foundation of abundance instead of scarcity. Gratitude doesn't make you less ambitious. It simply reminds you that happiness isn't postponed until you achieve your next goal. Finally, remember that your environment influences your mindset. The books you read, the podcasts you listen to, the people you spend time with, and the content you consume all shape your thinking. If you constantly surround yourself with negativity, complaints, and hopelessness, those attitudes slowly become your own. Instead, choose voices that inspire growth. Learn from people who challenge you to think bigger, act courageously, and believe in what's possible. Protect your mind as carefully as you protect your body, because both determine the quality of your life. The greatest battle you will ever fight isn't against the world. It's against the limitations you've accepted within yourself. Every time you replace fear with curiosity, excuses with responsibility, and doubt with possibility, you become a different person. And as you become a different person, your decisions begin to change, your habits begin to change, your relationships begin to change. Eventually, your life changes too. Chapter 4. Build habits that shape your future. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to make success look effortless? It's tempting to believe they were born with extraordinary talent, unlimited motivation, or exceptional luck. But if you look closely, you'll discover something far less glamorous, yet far more powerful. Behind every remarkable achievement lies a collection of ordinary habits repeated day after day. Success is rarely the result of one life-changing moment. It is the result of countless small actions performed consistently over time. Your life today is a reflection of your habits. If you exercise regularly, your body changes. If you read every day, your knowledge grows. If you save money consistently, your wealth increases. If you spend hours scrolling through social media every night, that habit also shapes your future. Whether your habits are helping or hurting you, they are always working quietly in the background. The question isn't whether habits matter. The question is whether your habits are building the life you want. Many people wait until they feel motivated before taking action. They tell themselves they'll start exercising when they feel inspired, begin writing when creativity strikes, or save money when they earn more. But motivation is unreliable. Some days you'll have plenty of it. Other days you'll have none at all. Habits remove the need to constantly rely on motivation. When an action becomes automatic, you no longer waste energy debating whether you should do it. You simply do it because it's part of who you are. Think about brushing your teeth. You probably don't wake up each morning and negotiate with yourself about whether it's worth doing. The habit has become part of your daily routine. Imagine if positive habits became just as automatic: reading before bed, exercising every morning, planning your day, or practicing gratitude. Over time, those simple routines would completely transform your life. One of the greatest lessons about habits is that small actions create massive results through consistency. Author James Clear explains in Atomic Habits that improving just 1% each day may seem insignificant, but those tiny improvements compound over time into extraordinary progress. In the same way, neglecting small responsibilities doesn't seem harmful at first, but negative habits also compound. A few extra minutes of procrastination, unhealthy eating, unnecessary spending, or wasted time may seem harmless today, yet repeated over months and years, they shape an entirely different future. Every habit is like planting a seed. You won't see a tree the next morning. You water it, protect it, and care for it long before you enjoy its shade or fruit. Your habits work exactly the same way. The results are often invisible in the beginning. That's why many people quit too early. They expect immediate transformation and become discouraged when life doesn't change after a week. But success doesn't reward intensity. It rewards consistency. Imagine two people who decide to improve their health. One spends 6 exhausting hours at the gym on the first day and never returns. The other walks for 30 minutes every morning and gradually builds a sustainable fitness routine. After a year, who do you think experiences the greater transformation? The answer is obvious. Consistency beats occasional bursts of effort every single time. Another secret to building better habits is making them easy to start. People often fail because they set unrealistic goals. They promise themselves they'll read 2 hours every day, wake up at 4 in the morning, eliminate every unhealthy food overnight, and completely transform their lives within a month. These ambitious plans sound exciting, but they're difficult to sustain. Instead, lower the barrier to getting started. Want to read more? Begin with 5 pages. Want to exercise? Start with 10 minutes. Want to meditate? Begin with 2 minutes of quiet breathing. The goal isn't to impress yourself with a perfect beginning. The goal is to establish a routine that becomes impossible to ignore. Once a habit becomes part of your identity, expanding it becomes much easier. Identity is the foundation of lasting habits. Most people focus only on outcomes. I want to lose weight. I want to become wealthy. I want to write a book. Those goals are important, but lasting change happens when you shift your identity. Instead of saying, I want to exercise, begin thinking, I am someone who takes care of my health. Instead of saying, I want to save money, think, I am someone who makes wise financial decisions. Instead of saying, I want to become a reader, believe, I am a person who learns every day. When your habits support your identity, consistency becomes much easier because you're no longer forcing yourself to act differently. You're simply acting in alignment with who you've chosen to become. Your environment also plays a powerful role in shaping your habits. If unhealthy snacks are always within reach, you'll probably eat them. If your phone constantly interrupts your attention with notifications, staying focused becomes difficult. If books are hidden away while distractions are always visible, guess which one you'll choose more often. Design your environment to support your goals. Place a book beside your bed. Prepare your workout clothes the night before. Keep a bottle of water on your desk. Silence unnecessary notifications during work. Small environmental changes often produce surprisingly large behavioral changes. It's equally important to recognize that setbacks are part of the process. There will be days when you skip your workout, miss your reading goal, or lose focus. Don't let one bad day become a bad month. A missed habit is an event. Giving up is a decision. Whenever you stumble, return to your routine as quickly as possible. Progress isn't about being perfect, it's about refusing to quit. Chapter 5. Master your time and energy. Imagine waking up every morning with exactly the same amount of time as the world's most successful people. You have 24 hours. So do entrepreneurs, athletes, scientists, artists, and leaders who accomplish extraordinary things. The difference isn't that they have more hours. The difference is how they use them. Time is the one resource you can never earn back. You can lose money and make more. You can lose a job and find another. You can even rebuild relationships after difficult seasons. But once an hour passes, it is gone forever. Every minute you spend is a minute of your life that you exchange for something. The real question is, what are you exchanging your life for? Many people believe they're busy because they're productive, but being busy and being productive are not the same thing. You can spend an entire day answering emails, attending unnecessary meetings, scrolling through social media, responding to messages, and checking notifications. At the end of the day, you'll feel exhausted. But exhaustion doesn't always mean progress. Productivity isn't about doing more. It's about doing what matters most. One of the greatest investors in history, Warren Buffett, once shared a simple but powerful idea. He suggested identifying your most important priorities and treating everything else as a distraction. This philosophy highlights an uncomfortable truth. Every time you say yes to something unimportant, you're saying no to something that could truly change your life. Think about your average day. How much of your time is spent intentionally, and how much is spent reacting? Many people wake up and immediately reach for their phones. Before their feet even touch the floor, their attention belongs to someone else. Emails, headlines, social media updates, and endless notifications begin directing their thoughts before they've had a chance to direct them themselves. Without realizing it, the day starts in reaction mode. Imagine beginning your morning differently. Instead of checking your phone, you spend the first 30 minutes reading, exercising, planning your day, or simply sitting quietly with your thoughts. You haven't changed the number of hours available to you. You've simply taken ownership of the first moments of your day. Small changes like this create remarkable long-term results. But mastering your time isn't only about managing your schedule, it's also about managing your energy. Have you ever noticed that some hours of the day feel incredibly productive while others feel mentally exhausting? That's because your ability to perform isn't constant. Your physical energy, emotional state, and mental focus naturally rise and fall throughout the day. Highly effective people understand this. Instead of forcing themselves to perform difficult work when they're mentally drained, they protect their highest energy hours for their most important tasks. Think of your energy like the battery on your phone. If dozens of unnecessary apps are running in the background, your battery drains quickly. Your mind works the same way. Constant interruptions, unfinished tasks, unnecessary worries, and endless multitasking quietly consume your mental energy before you've even begun meaningful work. This is why focus has become one of the most valuable skills in today's world. We live in an age where distraction is everywhere. Every notification competes for your attention. Every social media platform is designed to keep you scrolling. Every advertisement wants your focus. If you're not intentional, you'll spend your entire day helping other people achieve their goals while neglecting your own. Attention is your greatest asset. Protect it carefully. One simple strategy is to schedule periods of uninterrupted work. During these moments, silence your notifications, close unnecessary browser tabs, and give your full attention to one important task. You may be surprised by how much you accomplish in just 60 focused minutes compared to several distracted hours. Another powerful principle is learning to say no. Many people struggle with this because they don't want to disappoint others. They accept every invitation, every request, every responsibility, and every opportunity that comes their way. Eventually, they become overwhelmed, stressed, and exhausted. But every commitment carries a hidden cost. Every time you agree to something, you're giving away a portion of your time and energy. Before saying yes, ask yourself one simple question. Does this move me closer to the life I'm trying to build? If the answer is no, perhaps the most productive response is a polite no. Remember, saying no to distractions allows you to say yes to your priorities. Rest is another essential part of productivity. Many people wear exhaustion like a badge of honor. They believe sleeping less and working non-stop proves dedication. In reality, chronic exhaustion reduces creativity, weakens decision-making, increases stress, and lowers performance. Your body and mind need recovery. Professional athletes understand this better than anyone. They don't train at maximum intensity every hour of every day. They balance effort with recovery because they know improvement happens during both. Your life works the same way. Sleep isn't wasted time. Exercise isn't wasted time. Spending meaningful moments with loved ones isn't wasted time. These activities restore the energy you'll need to perform at your best. Don't just manage your calendar, manage yourself. It's also important to recognize the hidden cost of procrastination. People often assume they're avoiding work to reduce stress. Ironically, procrastination usually creates more stress than the task itself. The unfinished project sits quietly in your mind. The important conversation continues to linger. The goal you keep postponing slowly becomes heavier with every passing day. The quickest way to reduce anxiety is often to begin. You don't have to finish everything today. You simply have to start. Momentum is one of the most powerful forces in productivity. Once you begin moving, continuing becomes much easier than remaining stuck. At the end of each day, take a few minutes to reflect. Ask yourself, what moved my life forward today? What distracted me? What can I improve tomorrow? These simple questions create awareness and help you make better decisions with each passing day. Most importantly, remember that your schedule reflects your priorities. If you say your health matters but never make time to exercise, your schedule reveals the truth. If you say your family is important but rarely spend quality time with them, your calendar tells a different story. If you dream of writing a book, starting a business, learning a skill, or building financial freedom, but never dedicate time to those goals, they remain wishes instead of realities. Your future is built 1 hour at a time. Every focused morning, every wise decision, every unnecessary distraction you eliminate, and every moment you invest intentionally becomes another brick in the life you're creating. You don't need more hours. You need more purpose for the hours you already have, because at the end of your life, you won't remember every email you answered or every notification you checked. You'll remember the moments you truly lived, the work that mattered, the people you loved, and the dreams you had the courage to pursue. Guard your time, protect your energy, live intentionally, because every day is another opportunity to build a life you'll never regret. Chapter 6. Break free from fear, doubt, and procrastination. What would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? Take a moment to think about that question. Would you start the business you've been dreaming about? Would you apply for the job that seems just beyond your reach? Would you speak your mind more often, travel to new places, write the book you've always imagined, or finally begin creating the life you've been postponing? Now ask yourself another question. What's stopping you? For most people, the answer isn't a lack of intelligence, talent, or opportunity. It's fear. Fear is one of the most powerful emotions you'll ever experience. In the right situations, it protects you from genuine danger. But in everyday life, fear often becomes an invisible prison. It convinces you to stay where you are because the familiar feels safer than the unknown. Even when you're unhappy, fear whispers that it's better to remain comfortable than to risk disappointment. The tragedy is that many people spend years waiting for fear to disappear before taking action. They believe that confidence comes first and action comes second. But life doesn't work that way. Confidence isn't the starting point. Confidence is the reward for repeatedly doing things that once frightened you. Think back to the first time you learned to ride a bicycle. You probably felt nervous. You may have fallen more than once. Your legs shook, your balance wasn't perfect, and every attempt felt uncertain. But imagine if you had decided after the first fall that riding a bicycle simply wasn't meant for you. You would have missed out on a skill that eventually became second nature. The same principle applies to every meaningful goal in life. Every expert was once a beginner. Every confident speaker once struggled with nervousness. Every successful entrepreneur once questioned whether anyone would believe in their idea. The difference wasn't the absence of fear. The difference was the decision to continue despite it. Fear often disguises itself in clever ways. Sometimes it appears as perfectionism. You tell yourself you'll start when everything is ready. You'll launch the business when the website is perfect. You'll begin exercising when you have the right equipment. You'll apply for the promotion after taking one more course. On the surface, these reasons sound responsible, but underneath them is often a deeper fear of being judged or failing. Perfection is one of procrastination's favorite hiding places. The truth is, nothing great begins perfectly. Every masterpiece starts as a rough draft. Every successful company begins with uncertainty. Every meaningful relationship begins with an awkward first conversation. Waiting for perfect conditions is another way of choosing not to begin. Another form of fear is self-doubt. Self-doubt quietly questions your abilities before you've even had the chance to prove yourself. It tells you that you're too inexperienced, too ordinary, too old, too young, or simply not enough. The dangerous thing about self-doubt is that it sounds like your own voice. After hearing it often enough, you stop recognizing it as fear and start accepting it as reality. But your thoughts are not always telling you the truth, just because you think something doesn't make it true. When your mind says, "I'm not capable," ask yourself, what evidence supports this belief? More often than not, you'll realize that your conclusion is based on assumptions rather than facts. You may not have succeeded yet, but not yet is very different from never. One of the greatest ways to weaken fear is through action. Imagine standing at the edge of a cold swimming pool. The longer you stand there thinking about how cold the water might be, the more intimidating it becomes. Eventually, your imagination creates a fear far greater than reality. But the moment you jump in, you discover that adapting happens much faster than you expected. Life works in much the same way. Most fears shrink once you face them. The conversation you've been avoiding often turns out better than expected. The presentation you were terrified to give becomes manageable after the first few minutes. The business idea you've been postponing teaches you lessons you could never have learned by simply thinking about it. Action produces clarity. Waiting rarely does. This brings us to procrastination. Many people assume procrastination is a problem with laziness. In reality, it's often a problem with emotion. We postpone difficult tasks because they make us uncomfortable. We delay important decisions because they create uncertainty. We avoid meaningful work because it forces us to confront the possibility of failure. The solution isn't to become a different person. The solution is to become someone who acts despite discomfort. One practical strategy is to focus only on the next step. When a goal feels overwhelming, your brain naturally resists it. Writing a book sounds intimidating. Starting a company feels enormous. Losing 20 kilograms appears impossible. But writing one page isn't overwhelming. Making one phone call isn't overwhelming. Walking for 20 minutes isn't overwhelming. Progress begins when you stop focusing on the entire mountain and simply take the next step. Another helpful principle is understanding that motivation usually follows action, not the other way around. Many people wait until they feel like it. Unfortunately, that feeling often never arrives. But once you begin working, something interesting happens. Momentum starts building. Your mind becomes engaged. The task feels easier than you imagined. Action creates motivation, not the reverse. Failure is another fear that keeps people trapped. Society often teaches us to avoid failure at all costs, yet every successful person has failed repeatedly. Thomas Edison reportedly tested thousands of materials before inventing the practical light bulb. Instead of viewing unsuccessful attempts as defeat, he saw them as valuable information. Every setback teaches you something. Every mistake improves your judgment. Every disappointment strengthens your resilience if you allow it to. Remember, failure isn't the opposite of success. Failure is part of success. Courage doesn't mean feeling fearless. Courage means deciding that your dreams matter more than your fears. There will always be uncertainty. There will always be reasons to wait another week, another month, or another year. But someday you'll look back and realize that the perfect moment never existed. There was only the moment when you chose to begin. Imagine yourself 1 year from now. You have two possible futures. In the first, you allow fear to continue making your decisions. Your goals remain unfinished. Your ideas stay hidden. Your potential remains unexplored. In the second, you decide that fear will no longer be your leader. You take imperfect action. You learn from mistakes. You become stronger with every challenge. You gradually build confidence because you've earned it through experience. The choice between those futures is made today. Not tomorrow, not next month. Today. Remember this simple truth. Fear will always knock on the door of opportunity. Whenever you're about to grow, fear will appear. Whenever you're about to leave your comfort zone, doubt will speak. Whenever you're about to create something meaningful, procrastination will offer endless excuses. Don't wait for those voices to disappear. Walk forward anyway. Every courageous step you take weakens fear's grip. Every action proves that you're more capable than you believed. Every challenge you overcome becomes evidence that you can handle the next one. Your future doesn't belong to the person who waits until everything feels safe. It belongs to the person who chooses to act even when the outcome is uncertain, because the moment you stop letting fear control your decisions is the moment you truly begin taking control of your life. Chapter 7. Strengthen your relationships and boundaries. No matter how independent you believe you are, your life is deeply influenced by the people around you. The conversations you have, the advice you receive, the encouragement you hear, and even the attitudes you observe every day quietly shape the person you're becoming. Human beings are social by nature. We learn from one another, grow with one another, and often become reflections of the environments we spend the most time in. That's why taking control of your life isn't only about changing your habits or your mindset. It's also about choosing your relationships wisely. Take a moment to think about the 5 people you spend the most time with. How do they make you feel? Do they encourage your growth, or do they constantly remind you of your limitations? Do they celebrate your progress, or do they criticize every step you take? Do they inspire you to become better, or do they make staying comfortable seem acceptable? These questions matter because relationships are contagious. Positivity spreads. Negativity spreads, ambition spreads, complacency spreads. Whether you realize it or not, the people closest to you are constantly influencing your thoughts, your decisions, and your expectations. This doesn't mean you should only surround yourself with successful or wealthy people. The most valuable relationships are built on qualities like honesty, kindness, respect, encouragement, integrity, and mutual growth. Someone doesn't need to be famous or financially successful to inspire you. They simply need to bring out the best in you. Think about Oprah Winfrey. Throughout her career, she has often spoken about the importance of surrounding herself with people who support her growth, while also learning to establish healthy boundaries. As her influence grew, so did the number of people demanding her time and attention. She realized that saying yes to everyone would eventually mean saying no to herself. Protecting her peace wasn't selfish, it was necessary. The same lesson applies to you. One of the biggest mistakes people make is believing that being kind means always saying yes. You agree to favors when you're already exhausted. You attend events you don't want to attend. You accept responsibilities that don't belong to you. You stay silent when someone disrespects you because you don't want conflict. Over time, these small compromises become heavy burdens. You begin feeling overwhelmed, emotionally drained, and disconnected from yourself. This is where boundaries become essential. A boundary is simply a limit that protects your well-being. It's a way of telling people what behavior you will accept and what behavior you won't. Healthy boundaries aren't walls that push people away. They're doors that allow healthy relationships to grow while preventing unhealthy behaviors from taking over your life. Many people fear setting boundaries because they worry about disappointing others. But consider this. Every time you say yes to something that violates your values or drains your energy, you're saying no to your own peace. You cannot build a life you love while constantly sacrificing your needs to satisfy everyone else's expectations. Learning to say no is one of the most powerful life skills you'll ever develop. A respectful no isn't rude, it's honest. You don't need to apologize for protecting your time, your health, your priorities, or your emotional well-being. In fact, the people who genuinely care about you will usually respect your boundaries. Those who become angry often benefited from your lack of boundaries in the first place. Healthy relationships also depend on communication. Many conflicts don't happen because people have bad intentions. They happen because people make assumptions instead of having honest conversations. You expect someone to understand how you feel without expressing it. You hope problems will disappear if you ignore them. You assume others know your needs, even though you've never communicated them clearly. Strong relationships require courage, the courage to speak honestly, the courage to listen without becoming defensive, the courage to admit when you're wrong, and the courage to forgive when forgiveness is appropriate. Listening is just as important as speaking. Most people don't listen to understand. They listen to respond. While someone else is talking, they're already preparing their next argument instead of genuinely hearing what is being said. Imagine how different your relationships would become if people felt truly heard whenever they spoke with you. Sometimes, the greatest gift you can offer another person isn't advice. It's your full attention. As you strengthen your relationships, remember that respect must always go both ways. Healthy relationships are built on trust, honesty, accountability, and mutual support. They encourage growth instead of control. They create safety instead of fear. They celebrate individuality instead of demanding conformity. Unfortunately, not every relationship is healthy. Some people constantly criticize your dreams. Some manipulate your emotions. Some only appear when they need something from you. Others drain your energy every time you spend time together. Recognizing these patterns isn't about judging others. It's about protecting your future. You cannot expect to build confidence while constantly surrounding yourself with people who destroy it. Sometimes, taking control of your life means spending less time with people who repeatedly bring negativity into it. This decision isn't always easy. It may involve difficult conversations. It may require creating distance from relationships you've held for years. But growth often requires difficult choices. Remember, choosing peace isn't choosing loneliness. It's choosing an environment where your best self can thrive. At the same time, don't forget your responsibility in every relationship. Ask yourself, am I encouraging others the way I hope to be encouraged? Am I trustworthy? Do I celebrate other people's success without jealousy? Do I keep my promises? Do I communicate with kindness and respect? The quality of your relationships depends not only on who you choose, but also on who you become. Be the kind of friend, partner, colleague, and family member that you would be grateful to have in your own life. Kindness, gratitude, honesty, and empathy create stronger connections than status or success ever could. As your life changes, your relationships may also change. Some people will grow alongside you, some will naturally drift away. Others will enter your life exactly when you need them most. Accept these seasons without resentment. Every relationship teaches you something. Some teach you how to love, some teach you how to trust, some teach you resilience, and some teach you the importance of boundaries. Never underestimate the influence of the people you allow into your life. They can strengthen your confidence or weaken it. They can inspire your dreams or quietly discourage them. They can help you become the person you aspire to be or keep you trapped in the person you've already outgrown. Choose your relationships with wisdom. Protect your peace with courage, communicate with honesty, and build boundaries with confidence. Because when you surround yourself with people who respect your values, encourage your growth, and support your purpose, you create an environment where taking control of your life becomes not only possible, but sustainable. Chapter 8. Create financial stability and personal freedom. Money is often misunderstood. Some people believe it's the key to happiness. Others believe it is the root of all problems. The truth lies somewhere in between. Money doesn't determine your worth, define your character, or guarantee your happiness. But it does provide something incredibly valuable: freedom. Financial stability gives you choices. It gives you the freedom to leave a job that no longer fulfills you. It gives you the ability to support your family during difficult times. It allows you to invest in your education, take care of your health, pursue meaningful opportunities, and build the future you envision. While money cannot buy a meaningful life, financial stress can certainly make life more difficult. If you truly want to take control of your life, you must also take control of your finances. The first step is changing the way you think about money. Many people see money as something that simply comes and goes. They work hard, receive a paycheck, spend most of it, and repeat the cycle month after month. At the end of each year, they wonder why their financial situation hasn't changed. The problem isn't always income. Very often it's behavior. Financial success is built less on how much you earn and more on how wisely you manage what you already have. Imagine two people earning the same salary. One spends every raise on a larger house, newer gadgets, expensive vacations, and unnecessary luxuries. The other continues living below their means, saves consistently, invests wisely, and avoids unnecessary debt. 10 years later, their financial lives look completely different, not because one earned more, but because one made better financial decisions. This illustrates an important principle. Wealth is built through habits, not sudden events. Just as healthy habits strengthen your body, healthy financial habits strengthen your future. One of the simplest yet most powerful habits is spending less than you earn. This may sound obvious, but it's surprisingly difficult in a world constantly encouraging you to buy more. Every advertisement tells you that happiness is just one purchase away. Social media creates pressure to own what everyone else appears to have. Before long, people begin buying things they don't need with money they haven't saved to impress people they barely know. Real financial freedom comes from resisting that pressure. Instead of asking, "Can I afford this?" ask a better question. Will this purchase move me closer to or further away from the life I want? That single question changes the way you think about spending. Saving is another habit that creates long-term security. Many people believe they'll start saving once they earn more money. But higher income doesn't automatically create better financial habits. In fact, many people increase their spending every time their income increases, a pattern known as lifestyle inflation. The key is to save first, not last. Treat saving as a priority rather than an afterthought. Even small amounts set aside consistently can grow significantly over time. More importantly, saving creates peace of mind. It provides a financial cushion during unexpected emergencies and gives you confidence to make important life decisions without constant fear. Investing is the next step toward financial freedom. Saving protects your money. Investing helps it grow. You don't need to become a financial expert overnight, nor do you need to predict the stock market perfectly. The most important lesson is understanding that time is one of your greatest financial advantages. The earlier you begin investing wisely and consistently, the more powerful compound growth becomes. Think of investing like planting a tree. The best time to plant it was years ago. The second best time is today. The sooner you begin, the more time your efforts have to grow. Another important principle is avoiding unnecessary debt. Not all debt is harmful. Borrowing to invest in education, purchase a home responsibly, or build a productive business can create future value. But borrowing money to maintain a lifestyle you cannot afford often leads to years of unnecessary stress. Every debt you carry reduces your future freedom. Every payment you owe limits choices you could otherwise make. Financial discipline isn't about depriving yourself. It's about giving your future self greater opportunities. Equally important is increasing your ability to earn. One of the smartest investments you'll ever make is investing in yourself. Learn new skills, read books, take courses, develop communication skills, improve your leadership abilities. Stay curious. The more value you create for others, the more opportunities you'll create for yourself. Your knowledge, character, and abilities are assets that no economic downturn can permanently take away. It's also important to remember that wealth should always serve your life, not become your life. Some people become so focused on earning more money that they sacrifice their health, relationships, and happiness along the way. Years later, they discover they achieved financial success while losing the things that mattered most. Money is a powerful tool, but it should never become your master. Use it to create experiences, support people you love, contribute to meaningful causes, and build a life filled with purpose rather than possessions. As you continue taking control of your life, remember that financial freedom isn't about becoming the richest person in the room. It's about reaching the point where money no longer controls your decisions. It's about sleeping peacefully because you've prepared wisely. It's about having the freedom to choose opportunities based on purpose instead of desperation. Every dollar you save, every unnecessary purchase you avoid, every skill you develop, every wise investment you make, these are small decisions that quietly build a stronger future. Financial stability isn't created overnight. It is built one thoughtful decision at a time. Master your money before it masters you. Because when your finances are guided by discipline instead of impulse, you'll gain something far more valuable than wealth. You'll gain the freedom to live life on your own terms. Chapter 9. Live with purpose every day. Have you ever reached the end of a busy day and wondered why you still felt empty? You completed your tasks, answered messages, met your responsibilities, and stayed occupied from morning until night. Yet, despite everything you accomplished, something still felt missing. That feeling doesn't usually come from a lack of activity. It comes from a lack of purpose. Being busy is not the same as living meaningfully. Purpose is what gives direction to your life. It answers a question that every person eventually asks, whether they realize it or not. Why am I doing what I'm doing? Without an answer, life can become a series of routines that feel repetitive and exhausting. But when your actions are connected to a meaningful purpose, even ordinary days begin to feel significant. Purpose doesn't have to be something extraordinary. Many people imagine that only world-famous leaders, entrepreneurs, or inventors have a purpose. In reality, purpose is deeply personal. It can be found in raising a family with love, serving your community, building an honest business, creating meaningful work, helping others grow, or becoming the best version of yourself. Your purpose doesn't have to impress the world. It only has to be true to who you are. One of the greatest examples of this idea comes from psychiatrist Viktor Frankl. During one of the darkest periods in human history, while imprisoned in Nazi concentration camps, Frankl observed something remarkable. He noticed that people who held on to a reason to keep living, someone they loved, a dream they wanted to fulfill, or a purpose greater than their suffering, were often better able to endure unimaginable hardship. His experiences later inspired the best-selling book, Man's Search for Meaning, reminding millions of readers that purpose can become a source of strength even in life's most difficult moments. You may never face circumstances as extreme as those Frankl experienced, but you will face challenges. There will be seasons of disappointment, uncertainty, failure, and loss. During those moments, motivation alone won't carry you forward. Motivation comes and goes. Purpose remains. When you know why you're moving forward, you become much more willing to endure the difficulties that come with growth. The challenge is that many people spend their lives chasing goals without asking whether those goals truly matter to them. They pursue promotions because everyone else is doing the same. They buy bigger homes because society celebrates them. They compare themselves to people they've never met and begin measuring success by appearances instead of fulfillment. Eventually, they achieve what they thought they wanted, only to realize it doesn't bring lasting satisfaction. That's because goals and purpose are not the same thing. A goal is something you achieve. Purpose is the reason you pursue it. You can accomplish 100 goals and still feel empty if those achievements aren't connected to your deepest values. On the other hand, even small daily actions become meaningful when they're aligned with a purpose you genuinely believe in. Take a moment to imagine your life 10 years from now. What kind of person do you hope to become? How do you want your family to describe you? What contribution do you want to make to the lives of others? What memories do you want to create? These questions shift your focus from simply achieving success to building significance. Purpose also influences the decisions you make every day. Imagine you're standing at a crossroads with two opportunities. One promises more money, but leaves you feeling exhausted and disconnected from your values. The other offers slower progress financially, but allows you to grow, contribute, and live according to what matters most. Without purpose, you'll likely choose based only on immediate rewards. With purpose, you'll evaluate each opportunity through a much deeper lens. You'll begin asking, does this move me closer to the person I want to become? That single question has the power to transform your decisions. Living with purpose also requires intentional daily habits. Purpose isn't something you discover once and then forget. It's something you choose to live every single day. Your purpose becomes visible through your actions. If you say your family is your highest priority, but rarely spend quality time with them, your actions tell a different story. If you believe lifelong learning matters, but never make time to read or develop new skills, your schedule reveals what you truly prioritize. Purpose is reflected not in your intentions, but in your habits. This is why small daily choices matter so much. Every kind word you speak, every promise you keep, every hour you invest in learning, every moment you spend serving others, every healthy decision you make. These seemingly ordinary actions become extraordinary because they are connected to something greater than immediate pleasure. Living purposefully doesn't mean every day will feel exciting. Some days will feel routine. Some days will test your patience. Some days will bring setbacks you never expected. But purpose gives ordinary moments extraordinary meaning. A teacher grading papers late at night isn't simply marking assignments. They're shaping future generations. A parent waking early to prepare breakfast isn't just making a meal. They're building a home filled with love and stability. An entrepreneur solving difficult problems isn't simply earning money. They're creating opportunities that may improve countless lives. Purpose transforms routine into significance. Another important lesson is that your purpose can evolve. The purpose that motivates you at 25 may not be exactly the same at 45. Life changes. You change. Your responsibilities grow. Your understanding deepens. Don't be afraid to refine your purpose as you gain wisdom and experience. Growth isn't abandoning your purpose. It's allowing it to mature with you. Remember that success without purpose eventually feels empty, but purpose gives lasting meaning to success. Money may provide comfort. Recognition may provide satisfaction. Achievement may provide confidence. But purpose provides direction. At the end of your life, people won't remember how many emails you answered, how many meetings you attended, or how many possessions you accumulated. They'll remember how you treated others, the difference you made, the love you shared, the integrity you demonstrated, and the life you lived. So don't simply ask yourself what you want to achieve. Ask yourself who you want to become. Don't spend your days chasing approval from the world. Spend them becoming someone you respect. Because a meaningful life isn't built through occasional moments of greatness. It is built through ordinary days lived with extraordinary purpose. And when every decision, every habit, and every step is guided by your deepest values, you won't just be living your life. You'll be living it on purpose. Chapter 10. Design a life you'll be proud to live. Imagine yourself many years from now, sitting quietly on your porch, looking back on your life. What do you see? Do you see a life shaped by courage or by fear? A life filled with meaningful memories or endless regrets? Do you remember taking chances, pursuing dreams, and becoming the person you were meant to be? Or do you remember waiting for the perfect moment that never came? One day, every one of us will look back. The question is whether we'll smile with gratitude or wish we had lived differently. Throughout this audiobook, you've learned that taking control of your life doesn't happen through one dramatic decision. It happens through thousands of small choices. You learn to break free from autopilot, discover what truly matters, transform your mindset, build empowering habits, protect your time and energy, overcome fear, strengthen healthy relationships, create financial stability, and live with purpose every day. Now it's time to bring all those lessons together, because a meaningful life isn't built one chapter at a time. It's built when all these principles work together. Think of your life as a house. Your values are the foundation. Your mindset is the framework. Your habits are the bricks. Your relationships are the support beams. Your finances provide stability. Your purpose gives the house warmth and meaning. If even one of these areas is ignored for too long, the entire structure becomes weaker. But when each part is strengthened, you create a life that can withstand life's inevitable storms. Many people spend years chasing success while neglecting fulfillment. They assume happiness exists somewhere in the future. I'll be happy when I get promoted. I'll enjoy life after I earn more money. I'll spend time with my family once I'm less busy. I'll take care of my health later. But later has a habit of becoming never. Life isn't something that begins after you reach your next milestone. Life is happening right now. The greatest mistake you can make is postponing joy until everything is perfect. There will always be another goal, another challenge, another responsibility. If you don't learn to appreciate the present while building the future, you'll spend your entire life chasing a finish line that keeps moving farther away. Designing a life you're proud of requires balance. Balance doesn't mean giving every area of your life equal time every single day. It means giving each important area the attention it deserves over time. There will be seasons when work demands more of you. There will be seasons when family needs you most. There will be seasons focused on learning, healing, or rebuilding. Balance is not perfection. It's intentional adjustment. Whenever one part of your life begins consuming everything else, pause and ask yourself whether you're still living according to your values. Another important principle is continuous growth. Many people stop learning once they finish school, but the most successful and fulfilled people remain lifelong students. They stay curious. They ask questions. They read books. They seek mentors. They welcome feedback. They understand that growth isn't something you complete. It's something you continue for the rest of your life. Every year should leave you wiser than the year before. Not because life becomes easier, but because you become stronger. Remember that success is not a destination. It's a direction. There is no final point where you suddenly become the perfect version of yourself. You'll continue making mistakes. You'll continue facing challenges. You'll continue learning lessons you never expected. That's part of being human. Don't measure your progress by comparing yourself with someone else. Measure it by asking one simple question. Am I becoming a better person than I was yesterday? If the answer is yes, you're moving in the right direction. As your life improves, don't forget the importance of gratitude. Gratitude keeps success from becoming arrogance. It reminds you of how far you've come while inspiring you to keep moving forward. Take time to appreciate your health, your loved ones, your opportunities, your lessons, even your struggles. Some of your greatest strengths were born from your hardest seasons. Another part of designing a meaningful life is contribution. The happiest people aren't always those who have the most. They're often the people who give the most. Whether you share your knowledge, encourage someone who's struggling, volunteer your time, mentor a younger person, or simply offer kindness to a stranger, your life becomes richer when it positively impacts someone else's. Success asks, what can I achieve? Purpose asks, who can I help? The two are most powerful when they work together. Never underestimate the influence of your daily choices. Every morning you choose discipline over excuses. Every evening you choose learning over distraction. Every conversation where you choose kindness over anger. Every challenge where you choose courage over comfort. These moments may seem ordinary, but together they become the story of your life. You don't need extraordinary talent to build an extraordinary life. You need consistent choices aligned with meaningful values. Perhaps the most important lesson of all is this. No one is coming to rescue you. No one else can think your thoughts, make your decisions, build your habits, or create your future. Your family can support you, friends can encourage you, mentors can guide you, books can teach you, but only you can choose the direction of your life. That realization isn't meant to create pressure, it's meant to create freedom. Because if your choices created your current life, new choices can create a different future. No matter where you've been, no matter how many mistakes you've made, no matter how many opportunities you believe you've missed, today is still a new beginning. Every sunrise gives you another chance to make better decisions. Every conversation gives you another opportunity to strengthen a relationship. Every challenge gives you another chance to become more resilient. Every day offers another opportunity to become the person you've always wanted to be. As you close this audiobook, remember that knowledge alone changes nothing. Understanding these principles is only the first step. Transformation begins when you apply them. When you wake up tomorrow morning, don't try to change your entire life at once. Choose one habit, one conversation, one decision, one courageous action. Then repeat that process the next day and the day after that. Months from now, you'll begin noticing changes. Years from now, you'll barely recognize the person you used to be. One day, when you look back on your life, You'll realize that greatness was never created in one extraordinary moment. It was built through ordinary days, lived with intention. So take control of your life. Choose your values, protect your time, strengthen your relationships. Use your money wisely. Live with purpose. Keep growing. And never stop becoming the person you were capable of being. Because the life you'll be proud of isn't waiting somewhere in the future. It's the life you begin creating today, one thoughtful choice, one meaningful action, and one intentional day at a time. As you reach the end of this audiobook, remember this. Nothing in your life changes because you listen to these words. Your life changes because of what you choose to do after listening. You don't need to become a completely different person overnight. You don't need to have every answer or wait for the perfect moment. All you need is the willingness to take one intentional step today. One better decision, one healthier habit, one courageous conversation, one promise to yourself that you refuse to break. The life you dream about isn't reserved for someone luckier, smarter, or more talented than you. It's built by ordinary people who make extraordinary choices consistently. Every chapter you've heard is a reminder that you already have the power to shape your future. You can choose awareness over autopilot, purpose over pressure, courage over fear, discipline over excuses, and growth over comfort. There will be difficult days. There will be setbacks, disappointments, and moments when giving up feels easier than moving forward. But don't let one bad day become a bad life. Keep going. Progress isn't measured by how fast you move, it's measured by whether you keep moving. Years from now, you'll either look back with gratitude because you decided to take control, or you'll wonder what could have happened if you had started today. That choice has always been yours. So, as you close this audiobook, don't simply feel inspired. Take action. Start where you are. Use what you have. Become who you're capable of becoming. Because the life you love isn't something you wait for. It's something you create, one intentional choice at a time.